This video is presented by Chris and Mohammed. First, I would like to start with my first root, which is gamos. It means marriage. The first example of this root is bigamy. It's the crime of marrying somebody when you are still legally married to somebody else. The second word of this that contains this Greek root is origamy, a type of sexual reproduction occurring in some protozoans in which the uniting gametes are derived from the same cell. The third example, pre-game, drinking or enjoying alcohol before the wedding starts. The fourth example is phanerogon. Phaneros from Greek means visible and gamos means marriage. It can also mean a plant of former major division, phanerogam, which included all seed-bearing plants. The final example of this root is hologamy. It means the form of sexual reproduction in which the gametes are of the same size and structure as the somatic cells. The second Greek root is gastro. It means stomach. The first example of this root is gastronomy, which is the art of practice of cooking and eating food. The second example is gastrology, the medical study of stomach and its diseases. The third example is gastropod. It's a noun and it means a mollusk such as a snail or a slug that moves on the large foot. The fourth example is gastronomic, which is adjective. It means connected with cooking and eating good foods. The final example is gastroenterology, which is the branch of medicines dealing with the study of disorders affecting the stomachs, intestines, and associated organs. The third Greek root is or geo. The meaning of this root is earth. The first example of this root is geography, which is a noun. It's the scientific study of the Earth's surface, physical features, divisions, and products and populations. The second example of this root is geology, which is a noun. It means the scientific study of an Earth, including the origins and the history of the rocks and the soil of which the Earth is made. The third example is georgic, which is an adjective. It means of or relating to agriculture or rural life. It could also mean a poem concerning farming or rural life. The fourth example of this root is biogeochemistry, which is a noun. It means relating to the partitioning and the cycling of chemical elements and compounds between the living and non-living parts of the ecosystem. The final example of this root is geomorphology, which means the branch of geology that studies the characteristic and the configuration and the evolution of rocks and landforms. The fourth Greek root is gene or geno. The meaning of this root is race, kind, descent. The first example of this root is gender, which is a noun. It means the fact of being male or female, especially when considered with the reference to social and cultural differences, not differences in biology. The second example of this root is genealogy, which is a noun. It means the study of family history, including the study of who the ancestor of the particular persons were. The third example of this root is genius, which is an adjective. It means a person who is unusually intelligent or artistic, or who has a very high level of skill, especially in one area. The fourth example is general, which is an adjective. It means affecting all or most people, places, or things. Or it could also mean including the most important aspect of something, not exact or detailed. The fifth example of this root is generation, which is a noun. It means the average time in which children grow up, become adults, and have children of their own, usually considered to be about 30 years. The fifth Greek root is got or glossa. The meaning of this root is tongue or language. The first example of this Greek root is diglot. It's a noun which means a bilingual book or other work. The second example of this root is glottis, which is an adjective. It means the part of the throat that contains the vocal cords and the narrow opening between them. The third example is glossography. It's a noun which means communication arts, journalism, and publishing, the art of writing textual glosses or commentaries. The fourth example is polyglot, which is a noun. It's knowing or using written in more than one language. The fifth example is epiglottis. It's an adjective which means a thin piece of tissue behind the tongue that prevent food ordering from entering the lung. The sixth Greek root is glyph. It means carving. The first example of this root is glyphic, which means a carved channel or groove, especially vertical one, as used in Doric frieze. The second example of this root is hieroglyphic, which is an adjective. Hieroglyphic writing, especially that one of the ancient Egyptians, often used in the plural with a singular or plural verb. It could also mean something such as illegible or undecipherable writing that it felt resemble a hieroglyphic. The third example is triglyphic, which is an adjective. It's an ornament in Doric frieze consisting of projecting block having on its face two parallel vertical glyphs or grooves and two half grooves or chamfers on either vertical end that separates the meropes. The fourth example is anaglyph, which is a noun. It means a moving or still picture consisting of two slightly different perspectives of the same subject in contrasting colors that are superimposed on each other, producing a three-dimensional effect which when viewed through one correspondingly colors filters. The fifth example is dermatoclavic. It's an adjective which means the lines that form pattern or on the skin, especially on the fingertips and the palm of the hands and the soles that feet. The last Greek root is gon, G-O-N, which means figure having angles. The first example of this root is epigon, which is a noun, which means a second-rate imitator or follower, especially if an artist or philosopher. The second example is dragon. In stories, a large aggressive animal with wings and long tails that can breathe out fire. The third example is outgone. Outdo something or do something to greater degree, outdo someone. The fourth example is decagon. It's a noun. It's a flat shape with the straight sides and 10 angles. The fifth one is octagon. It's basically the same as the last one. It means a polygon with 8 sides and 8 angles. And finally, I would like to recite that I didn't this root couldn't be found in the AWL list, so I had to do an external research and go beyond the AWL to find some examples. That's it.
Hi, I'm Chris. This is my Greek roots. So I only find the this and the D in the AWL list. So this and D means different. So I find the word different, differentiate, dimension, diminish, decrease, discriminate, displace, and display. All the basic meaning the different. And the next root is deuter. I can't find any in the AWL, and I found several words. First one is Detroit. The meaning is the nuclear of the deuterums consists of one pearl and one is used as bombard practice in accident. And Detroit stone and Detroit mist ditrononical, and the ditroplasm is a chemical thing. And next one is diduno. Deuces. This I can find anyone in the dictionary or the Google. And next one is a do exo. The word I find is doxorubicin, doxorubicin, and doxology. And the meaning is the hymn and the verse in Christian liturgy glorifying God. And the next one is dynamis. Dynamism means any of the various theory or doctrine or philosophical systems that attempt to explain the phenomena of the universe in terms of some immanent force or energy. And the last one is aesthesia. And the word I found have the anesthesia means loss of bodily sensation with or without loss of consciousness, and anesthesia loss of body. Same meaning. And I have the one more last is ethnos, and I found the word ethnoscience, ethnographic, and ethnographical, ethnography, ethno, and the meaning is indicating race, people, or culture is knowledge. Thank you very much. This is all from the Muhammad and Chris.